Hi.
Hello.
I hope you're all having a great day right now
Me too.
in your rainy cyberpunk future. where every gadget has a screen and everyone has 12 gadgets on them at all times. Every bullet is traced and everyone, well, no, what is it? 97% of crimes are solved before they even hit the courts. I really... People have been talking about this game in our orbit on the Discord for a while, and it looks really interesting, and it looks very much like a very loving build on Ace Attorney. The idea of like, oh, most court cases are settled before they even hit the judge, and those that go to trial have a 97% conviction rate. So if you better get a damn good lawyer. I'm like, yeah, we've played this game before. That sounds great. Our patrons wanted us to play something from Nth Circle Studio this month, so here we are. And by this month, I mean April. Don't look at the calendar. These are the same folks that did Model Employee, if you remember that, which was was unexpectedly delightful, I feel.
That one had Penny, right?
That one had Penny,
Penny,
yes.
no.
Penny, no. So we're going to have a good time with this one now, I think.
I just realized Penny, like money.
Yeah.
I'm so slow on the uptake.
Great job figuring out the last game we played.
That took like a year to set in, so expect me to figure out the point of this one in around May of 2026.
Now,
Put that on your calendars.
This game is episodic. I believe like the episode 0 and episode 1 are out now.
Wait, I got it.
What?
It's because we're a lawyer. So fast.
Are you okay?
'Cause of the devil, devil's advocate, lawyer. It's because we're a lawyer. I got the thing in time.
Congratulations,
Contemporaneous.
Vivian. Would you like a cookie?
Yes, I would.
You can have a cookie when we're done.
Thank you.
Rain sizzles off the neon above me. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street, and a slight blunting of the night's ambiance. Emphasis on slight. Lights, cameras, and constant noise. This city's got insomnia with the uneven heart rate to prove it. There's no escaping the secondhand nervous energy of it all, but I'm plenty acclimated. Just a wave of worries cresting on the surface while I hold my breath deep below. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. Because if I'm not careful, this client of mine's gonna die in jail. Alright, so I want to point out the great choice of cyberpunk future and yet wearing like this very high belt corset almost type thing. Being in the cyberpunk future and dressing like you're 2 steps removed from a Ren fair. I like this.
Can we also just talk about the art style? I think it's really interesting how it's combining like 3D modeled Unity environment or something
Yep.
for backgrounds, but also character sprites in this very hand-drawn style. But also, we're back to 3D animation for like the lighter flame.
Right, it's a style we've actually seen before. It's not that uncommon. We saw this with what was it, Crimson Spires? Right, with like the 2D assets on a 3D background. It's a very interesting combination. But hopefully we don't want our client to die in jail. Hello, Morgan. Morgan, criminal attorney. It's hard to get away with murder these days. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. But by the time they're in cuffs, there's hardly any shadows of doubt left.
Does her outfit have a cape?
I think it does. Because this whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown, and always online. Much like swords. Whether it's incandescent or neon or hollow, whether it's LCD, LED, or just the nearest phone screen, there's a light shining on every last pixel of the map. And someone is always watching. Solitude is a rarity, and anonymity is scarce. and criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers.
Is her hand missing? Oh no, it's in a glove.
It's in a glove.
Okay,
yeah.
The blur effect had me really
Morgan,
confused.
you've been lighting that cigarette for a good couple minutes now. Take a puff, for goodness sake.
Yeah,
Morgan doesn't actually know how to smoke. She just likes lighting the thing and having fire near her mouth in a socially acceptable manner.
That, or I'm imagining actually consuming a cigarette in that manner. Just leaving the lighter going and just sucking up the whole cigarette in one gulp.
You zoom in and she's chewing on the end of it. Oh my god, wait, hold on. I saw a menu there. That's a lot of... Okay, cool. So we've got a log, auto, we got terms, profiles, articles. Awesome. I like this. Okay. You take whatever clients you can get. You don't balk at public defender work, no matter the hour. And should you find yourself in one of the last dark, quiet corners left in the whole world, well, smoke 'em if you got 'em. Hey, she did. Yeah, that is a cape. Wow, you look like you're set for a vampire novel, not cyberpunk, and I appreciate that. Don't let him tell you what genre you gotta be in, Morgan. Not that there's much else I can do. Until... my phone.
Oh, it's got cut-ins. I love it.
Do you want to be the...
Counselor, your public defender contract has been approved.
Currently texting with the state system. All right.
You are expected at the 254th precinct. Present your ID at the door to enter. Arrive at least 15 minutes early.
I'll try.
I just realized that...
the menacing cut-ins before furiously firing off a text that says, I'll try less than 3.
I just realized that doing a silly voice for computer systems and so on is already Z-rusted.
Oh, yeah, it is.
The state-of-the-art text-to-speech is already way better than that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Looks like the paperwork came through. It's nearly 3:15 now, 19 minutes since I took the job. Probably makes it about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. If they're really smart, they'll have used that time to get some rest. Because now that I'm here, things are going to get busy. Of the Devil, Episode 0. And he shall appear. We couldn't afford capital letters for the beginning of our title. And unfortunately, we had to keep going. There was a sale at the preposition bin. Disable tutorials. Enable tutorials. This is my first time playing this game. I will take the tutorial. Thank you. Suspect. Hashtag not found. Welcome. You are experiencing an emergency. Please use our universal contact number.
At
string not found. This desk is programmed for check-in and information only. If you are... Oh, there was an if. There was an if. I just thought it as you are experiencing an emergency. And I'm like, thank you for letting me know. Precinct 254. It's...
I like the eyelash style as well.
Yeah, it's very good. I
That's
like
a unique one.
The eyes, and I say this as lovingly as it is possible to say, so please take it in the correct way. The eyes remind me of like the best, most expressive parts of Scott Pilgrim art style. The Brian Lee O'Malley. I really like the expressiveness in them. With nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. It's not a cape, it's just a jacket with a really nice... Okay. I'm here about a homicide. High clearance rates be damned. You'd think they'd treat it with a little more gravitas. Whatever. If I'm that unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. And I should take my time. Information is like cash in my line of work. You gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, no one will give a shit what you have to say. See if I can't poke around and shake some change loose. Press escape or click on the phone icon on the top left to access the pause menu where you can save, load, or check settings. Thank you.
The visual aesthetic of this is very good.
Use the mouse to look around for points of interest that you can click on and press space to find them automatically. You'll earn credit for investigating anything and everything you can. Credit's supposed to measure of your information gathering skills and your own credibility. Got it.
Interesting.
Right. So I'm guessing this will wind up playing a similar role. Like if we have more credibility, we might be forgiven for making another mistake later on, right? Or someone might take us more seriously and give us more info. So don't go broke. Oh, okay. Can I move? Is it WASD? No, it's just looking around. Okay. Okay. So, and then I'm just going to do this once. Okay, then spacebar just locks you onto a thing. Okay. An actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. The museums tend to feel expensive and clean. Dusty, forgotten, probably lots of unpacked boxes. This homicide department's more like an attic. Hard to believe they were ever so busy that they had witnesses making IDs in the lobby. And again, it's hard to believe they were ever doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Wasn't it dark? Did you know that during traumatic events, memory formation is blah, blah, blah? Poking holes in that setup must have been like shooting fish in a barrel. And all during billable hours. But there's no room to sow doubt anymore. Not when a modded witness can just submit their testimony as a video recording. Assuming their phone didn't automatically file a police report for them. Interesting. Okay, so I can examine that. And it won't let us re-examine stuff, huh? Okay, cool. It won't let me... Alright, so... we're going to read this plaque first. A data pad? I'll bite. Even when they're more advertisement than article, they can still be informative. In a flowery, roundabout corporate propaganda sort of way. Keep an eye out for articles in the environment. They offer insight on the world around you and credit towards your investigation. Articles are added to your phone's reading list after your first read. That's so helpful. Thank you. Just in case there's something relevant there. Choose the proper takeaway after reading them and you'll earn additional bonus credit too.
Oh no, this game has reading comprehension as a mechanic.
Finally! Finally, a game that rewards our skill set. Subway fixes axed city to refocus on canopy.
Do you want me to be the article since you're so much of the dialogue and stuff? Declaring the subway tunnels to be irreparably flooded, city engineers announced this week that all plans to drain and repair the system were being suspended indefinitely. Saltwater damage to sensitive electronic cabling and erosion of key tunnel fixtures were cited as reasons for why 89% of the subway system was evaluated as critically compromised or worse. Civil engineering efforts will be refocused on maintenance and expansion of the hybrid super infrastructure system that weaves together trams, highways, walkways, and skyscrapers into the canopy high above our city's streets.
Interesting. So it looks like... So, okay, that makes sense. Well, it makes sense as in I've read it and I understand what they... Ballsy of them putting the paywall there. As if I had reached for my wallet after having to read a word like aesthetical. So to get the gist of it, the takeaway is that the city will be refocusing its efforts on...
the canopy.
There will be increased scrutiny surrounding the canopy now that there's no plan B. It's a massive project with a massive budget. Lines in the pockets of a lot of people, big and small. None of them would appreciate bad press at the moment. Not when Councilman Long's already thoroughly chummed the waters. Who the hell's Councilman Long?
New game idea. This, but the reading comprehension is actually quite difficult. That's the difficulty gate for the game. See,
it's like you're
I was able to get that. I was able to get that, and I work in STEM. We need one for the humanities folks in the audience. We need something that will gatekeep me, keep me out.
I'm trying to read and comprehend this, but there's keeps being these 100-letter words to describe the sound of thunder. High traffic hallways, utilitarian furnishing, multiple screening stations, pragmatic brutalism. So textbook, it could teach freshman level architecture. Hey, I like brutalism. Can almost hear the building drone on and on about concrete and iron and hard right angles. The civil planning equivalents of battle scars. From a fight won so long ago, they're starting to look ridiculous. I'm sure it was all very imposing back when it was built. But walking in here now, with the crime rates where they are, feels like a hospice ward for heavy-handedness. All right.
I think that's what's left.
The medium's cracked on the corner. The medium. Oh, okay, so the screens are called media. Is a medium. Which, in the sense of the word, is in like the thing delivering the medium through which an information is delivered. Looks bad, but my phone's made of the same stuff, and I'm rolling the dice every time it falls off the sofa. Could probably know the warranty on one of these things with a loud sneeze. At least it's not broken. Entirely. Even at this hour, it's still dutifully scrolling through its notifications. Looks like the usual 1-to-1 ratio of public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture trivia you always get served at state buildings. There's a few missing persons, too. 1 year of silver plan coverage courtesy of Caduceus as a reward for any. 1 year of silver plan coverage. I'm guessing that's healthcare, given the person or company's name Caduceus, right?
Yeah.
Silver is no joke. Family must be getting desperate. All right. Taking in all the scenery and learned as much as I can here. Time to get checked in. It booted up fine. So far, so good.
Good morning.
Morgan, here for the public defender contract.
Could you please provide your name and... Great. Please stand still for a moment.
I wouldn't call Intake Hollows charming. More like... harmless. But that's probably what the designers were aiming for. People don't mind a quirk or two in their tech, so long as it never speaks out of turn.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble placing you. Could you please provide your name and date of birth?
So far so good, was it? Scan our card or scan our face?
We could look at profiles and see if there's info about us in profile.
Hey, look, I'm so happy to be here. Date of birth, December 26th. No year given. Blood type, AB-. Criminal defense attorney. Likes puzzles, smoking, wooden furniture. Dislikes commercials, hairdressers, jogging. Talent can fall asleep in any position. Dang! Coffee decaf? Pfft. That's the one thing I've been surprised about. And drink whiskey sour. Well,
I like her little bolo tie.
Let's read some of these first, so that way we know what decision to make here, just in case. Holograms.
Enabled by specialized projectors or mediums like conductive resin, holograms are graphic displays that appear three-dimensional to the human eye when viewed from any part of a face range of at least 180 degrees, an effect known as the Watterson illusion phenomenon. Originally patented in late 2059, Watterson's phenomenon was initially used exclusively in the adult entertainment industry. Holograms did not become widely adopted as an advertising tool until the much-maligned Holoday season of 2061, after which laws restricting the presence of holograms in public spaces were passed with uncharacteristically universal support. We're sorry to see that you've installed a subroutine on this device to disable and highlight our recommended premium external links. We understand your drive for personalization, but unauthorized tech impacts our ability to serve you the best, most relevant information possible. Consider disabling your subroutine so we can serve you a more tailored browsing experience.
No, I don't think I will. Okay, so this is modern holograms. We're not talking about our Mikus anymore. This is data pads.
A mid-sized portable electronic device for use inside local networks. The lightweight, portable electronic devices, known as data pads, have no significant internal storage capabilities and can only display what is streamed to them from local networks.
Oh, that's actually very important to know. So it's not like picking up a data pad is the same as picking up someone's cell phone.
Originally marketed as a replacement for ecologically wasteful newspapers, magazines, and flyers, data pads quickly became infamous for the difficulty and expense involved in recycling them once their limited lifetime components expired. It wasn't until they were rebranded as ideal for privacy and security that datapads found success in the private and public sectors, where their ability to display location-locked content helped corporations minimize data leaks and give their advertisements targeted geographic relevance. Today, datapads are a mainstay of high-traffic public spaces and virtual physical hybrid workplaces, despite remaining unpopular with most environmentalists and bibliophiles.
Right, so it's just a medium through which location-specific data is streamed. There is nothing on the datapad itself. I don't know if that's going to be important or whatnot, but worth knowing.
Conductive resin, an industrial polymer capable of programmed electrical conduction. Though it outwardly resembles plastic or glass, conductive resin is actually an electromagnetic polymer used in a wide variety of stationary or portable devices, where its unique properties allow it to act as both a display and a processor, enabling ultra-thin or even transparent electronics. There are upwards of 100 different patented varieties of conductive resin, each intended for different use cases, industries, and environments. But they are all fairly lightweight and fragile, except for the small handful formulated for military and security applications. Because of its widespread use in high-turnover products such as datapads and smartphones, producers of conductive resin are frequently accused of engineered obsolescence by consumer rights groups, though these claims have never been proven before a court. Screen cracked, schedule a fix here.
Oh, okay. And then the reading list is right. Just that thing we found. Okay.
Ways abandoned.
So I don't know that we've learned anything that'll help us make this decision, but
yeah.
Scan my card. Let's just scan the card.
Sure.
Because if it's an interface thing, then scanning the face seems to insert another level of. Say, why don't you just scan my ID card?
Great. Now, could you just confirm your date of birth for me?
Why do they even bother asking? My birthday's on the damn ID card. And my profile. I'd have to be a world-class airhead to get this question wrong. No problem. My birthday is... Oh! Hey, did you check the profile?
I love how I called it immediately that we needed to check the profile, but I didn't remember to actually pay attention to that data point at all.
Yeah. December 26th.
Perfect. Good morning, Morgan Counselor. Thank you for your timely arrival and for taking on this public defender contract. If you're ready to speak to your client, you can proceed to Counseling Quarter 3C.
Is that what we're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room?
I'm sorry to have caused any confusion. My vocabulary is regularly updated to better reflect state standards.
Don't sweat it. I can't keep track of every new euphemism either. They could call it the involuntary wellness check room if they like. Doesn't change the way it makes a person feel, sitting in a stifled box of one-way panels. Nothing to see but their own reflection dully warped across gunmetal walls.
Morgan Counselor, can I help you with anything else?
Morgan Counselor. The way the desk hologram says that makes it sound like it's an honorific.
Yeah.
Choices that progress the story and choices that represent side topics will react differently to your mouse. Okay. Ooh, because of what we read earlier, we unlocked additional choice.
Nice.
No okay, hold on. If we hover over no thanks, it grays out everything else.
Yeah, so that progresses it forward.
So I think that means it progresses forward. But if we hover over these, then the other options still light up.
Yeah.
Okay. That's... Okay, so it's good we've learned how to read that. Let's start here, and then we can ask the extra one.
Yeah.
What are you?
I'm a smart user interface, proudly sold by Noble Electronics. Thank you for asking.
Noble Electronics. Got it.
If you're interested, I could send you a link with information about our subscription packages.
Of course there's a subscription package. You can't just outright buy anything.
Should I send you a link with information about our subscription packages?
No, sorry. That was a mean question to ask. I know the city's not terribly concerned with the lower wards, but this is a police station. Oh, so lower wards meaning like literally, vertically lower. I see. Why is it so goddamn dusty?
This facility is currently undergoing renovations.
Since when? The 60s?
It has been 22 months. Since the timetable was last updated.
They really don't see a lot of action around here, do they? Sorry for any... Oh.
I'm sorry for any inconvenience you might have encountered.
It's alright, I'm adaptable. What about you? Are they ever gonna fix that crack?
Thank you for asking. It has not interfered with my work.
Well, that's all that matters, right? That'll be all, thank you.
You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office, through the door to your right.
Thank you. But I think it's just me for now. So you could go on break if you like.
Automated dependents do not take breaks, Morgan Counselor.
Then what were you doing before I walked in?
You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office.
Wait, do they have an actual consciousness, or I assumed it was the equivalent of a really fancy phone menu. But through the door and to the right, thank you. Ads don't get breaks, and they don't get my jokes either, but it's usually the humorless types that are the most fun to mess with anyway. Yeah, that would be your kind of humor, wouldn't it, Morgan?
Eyes gone bad or something?
A voice. No, voices coming from down the hall.
Compared to yours? Probably.
Thank God I stopped for directions. A building this empty, the desk could have just told me to follow the echoes. One voice sounds older, rougher, and decidedly low energy.
Appreciate you worrying about me. God forbid I try to be serious.
While the other rings with youthful indignation.
It's not like our job is important or anything.
Definitely cops. And at this precinct, at this hour, they might be the only two living, breathing people in the whole complex.
Because why else would you bother to print all that out? One document or 100 looks the same on a datapad. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file in hand.
Are they talking about the aesthetics of the manila folder?
Yes.
Didn't we talk about this recently?
I think so.
I think we did talk about the aesthetics of the manila folder as an intimidation technique.
Makes them think you know them better than their priest, their mother, their...
But if they're not actually going to look at it, then just have, your standard folder and then print out the one sheet that goes on top. Everyone knows this.
Then the folder's not full.
Well, no, you just have blank lorem ipsum type stuff that you can put whatever on there.
I see.
So it looks full to them, and the top page has relevant info, but the rest of it is just reused. It works smarter, not harder.
Their big brother. No, I wasn't going to say that. So how many of those sheets were blank then?
No red carpet tonight, officers?
Oh, sorry about that, ma'am. We don't keep many extra hands around at these hours.
So I think the good cop is the one with the yellow border. And the gumshoe looking...
Oh. Probably faster to let the desk handle intake anyway. But mostly cheaper.
Never mind, they might... Oh, that...
Oh.
Wait, is the bad... But the bad cop has the green...
I'm confused.
Me too.
You, the lawyer.
I am, thank you. Morgan, Esquire, pleased to meet you. Okay, you're a good cop.
Yep. I guess it's the shirt color.
It's the shirt. It's like the shirt color, not the outline. Got it.
Sorry, the shirt color is yellow.
Yeah.
I said green, but I meant yellow.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
It's the thing where you read the names of the color, but it's written in the other color.
Yes.
So you say the wrong thing.
Yeah, I know that.
It's pulling a that thing on me. Same here, counselor. Kasim, London.
What's up, bad cop?
And the ball of sunshine here is my partner, Farah Reyes. Ball of sunshine.
She most certainly is.
Huh? Sorry if you were kept waiting. Chatter between the departments has been hectic all night.
It's no trouble. Gave me time to enjoy my cigarette.
Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80?
She can't be more than a few years younger than me.
We're the detectives in charge of this particular case, and it looks like tonight we're also your humble guides to the illustrious homicide department. Apologies in advance for any cobwebs.
Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouses before. He never struck me as more than just some old timer. But I suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in and of itself in his profession. Also, his color of everything changed when I started looking at him. Sunshine is definitely a new face, though. Rigid in her posture and her attitude. 3 in the morning and her shirt still looks ironed. Freshly promoted, maybe. 2 whole detectives working at these hours? Sounds pretty serious to me. Unless you were just the first to arrive on the scene.
No, we're not nearly that timely. Uniforms responded to the emergency calls within a few minutes.
Calls, plural, must have been quite the commotion.
Look around. You think we're the first to arrive for anything? She's not wrong. We were only tapped after circumstances at the scene indicated involvement with an ongoing investigation.
Involvement with an ongoing investigation? Interesting.
Our ongoing investigation.
Not very subtle, is she? But I may as well bite at this point. So you suspect that this client of mine is involved in some separate criminal activity?
Wait, did they really not?
No. I guess they wouldn't put it in a public defender's
No, I guess
briefing.
they wouldn't put it in a public defender's briefing.
Son of a bitch, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to speak over your lines, Mr. London.
Look, consider this a little professional courtesy, a fair warning, yeah? That's the Heartbreak killer in that room.
What? Wait, the Heartbreaker was... Isn't that similar to what August was called in Crimson Spires?
Wait, it totally is, isn't it?
Completely unrelated game by completely unrelated group of people. It's just very funny that it's the
and
second
that it's also,
to Nickel, right?
Yeah, and that it's also the one we have referenced for unrelated reasons.
Exactly, 2 nickels.
And we've got the bastard dead to rights, so if you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. And if you're smart, you'll pass this shitstorm on to some other night owl and go back to bed.
I see. I'm not feeling particularly kind or smart at the moment. So perhaps in the meantime, you'll be so polite as to fill me in about this Heartbreak killer.
They cover utilities at the rock you live under?
Is there a problem?
You're seriously not familiar with HK?
Never heard of him. I have heard enough of him for a lifetime. That name has been plastered all over the city for weeks, their crimes wavering between breaking news and urban legend, their presumed goals flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unappreciated vigilantism, at street corners, in the media, on the net. Everyone is indulging in the exact kind of armchair detective speculation that I cannot stand. But right now, I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or do not know. And when it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. That's a good thing to know, maybe. Like, depending on, because the point about coming in, there are times to come off as competent, and there are times to come off as, oh, why don't you show off your smarts, right? I take it he's a repeat offender?
Was it the killer part that tipped you off? You must have at least heard about his MO. Media's gone crazy with it. Along with everyone else. 1 bullet straight through the heart, body left to lie where it falls.
Hence the name Heartbreak. Not exactly creative, but amidst the swirl of every other 100-word article out there, catchiness trumps originality.
What you won't read about online is that all 6 of HK's victims were shot by the same gun, without even needing to reload.
How on earth would you know that? Why would you know that? And if you knew that, why would there still be a question of... Okay, let's horrible to say I know, but 6 for 6. That's pretty good shooting, isn't it?
Hitting the bullseye at the shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great. But shooting 6 people with accuracy like that? It's a whole different beast. Takes a certain kind of monster, a real freak. His pulse probably didn't even rise.
I see. Interesting. That's not like when you say it that way. That doesn't sound like I. The thing that came to mind first was the second option here. That doesn't sound like sociopathy. That sounds like robotic precision, right? Even with the idea of being able to kill someone without like emotional involvement in it or whatever, there's still the thing of you are a piece of meat waving a gun around, right? That sounds too precise for that. You almost make him sound like a machine. Is it possible that...
No, it is not. There's no such thing as killer robots, madam.
Of course. My mistake. So all those androids marching in the military, those robots patrolling in police uniforms, those drones dropping firebombs from the sky, I guess they're all firing blanks.
Fair enough. Machines can kill, and they have been for decades, but they don't commit murder.
Right.
Evil like Heartbreak is all organic.
Interesting. I know we're getting some new stuff up in the profiles and terms section. I want to wait till we've got like a good break before we can get into those, because I want to learn more. That is a pretty terrifying thought. I should really start paying more attention to the news, shouldn't I? How I managed to miss 6 murders.
Well, you can only blame yourself for missing 5.
I know you're a cop, but I like your attitude, London. Pardon?
You're still not getting it. HK's 6th victim was found a few hours ago, when we caught the son of a bitch red-handed.
So you're convinced that my client is this heartbreak killer, and tonight was just his latest crime. That is a serious accusation with very serious consequences. I take it you have serious evidence to back that up.
I was being literal, counselor.
I'm sorry, what?
Red-handed. When we found your client, he was covered in her blood.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, immediately 2 options, right? Sure, maybe the person that killed her, or since the heartbreak killer seems to walk away from their victims and lets them lie where they fall, this might have been someone who came up and tried to help?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not quite good now, is it? What you say certainly sounds compelling.
Is that lawyer talk for open and shut?
But even if that is the case, how does one crime scene make him look good for 6 murders?
It's all there in the discovery files and the ARCs, of course.
Advanced reader copies.
Indeed. Join the local net on your phone and we'll turn over everything you need.
I'll bet. Thank you for that, Detective. I'll be sure to read it over. But if it's all the same, could I ask you 2 some questions while I got you here?
The hell kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives?
This kind of attorney. You are just that pleasant.
Come on, sunshine. Not like we're going to be punching out anytime soon, right?
Detective London, how did your forehead become so big?
Whatever. Let your clients do an interrogation all night for all I care.
Interro. You mean the counseling quarters?
We're at your disposal, counselor.
All right, cool. We got a moment here. So before we do all that, let's catch up on some of the stuff we've just learned.
All right.
We got some new profiles here. Let's go for London first. May 5th, 186 centimeters, 78 kg, B+. Homicide detective first class. Okay, so they've been doing this a while. Photography, dive bars, bangs. You don't say. Dislikes ties. Okay. Pollen. After hours work messages. Listens to podcasts. Hobby, pencil sketching. Frequently running late. That checks out. Good for you. Reyes. October 19th. Homicide detective third class. Okay, yeah, so they are the newbie. They like rice, limes, and automotive history. Dislikes liars, small plates, and cheap people. Oh, you're hungry. Got it. Understood. Enjoys watching product reviews. Bad at games of chance. Wait, why do you enjoy watching product? Never mind. I watch James Hoffman talk about coffee products all the time. Never mind. Right eye, Osiris Elite 86.
Just got a new upgrade installed?
Oh, so I was like, is it missing? Is it like a? So that's not a missing eye. That's a healing eye.
Perhaps.
Interesting. Heartbreak. Looks like, what's his name from Twooey? Occupation, criminal, likes killing, dislikes getting caught. Favorite color, probably red. Zodiac sign, probably not into astrology. Reward, suspended due to influx of false reports.
Come to think of it, that reminded me, one of the things this aesthetic reminds me of a little bit is Twooey. A little bit.
It does have that kind of very bold graphic.
Yeah.
Like, it's not cartoonish. It's comic style in like an older sense. Very high contrast, lots of heavy blacks, very bold. Yeah, and he does look like Mina Mimoto.
Yep.
All right. Automated dependent.
The legal designation for any intelligent electronic entity, abbreviated as AD and referred to in common conversation as AD or ADS. Automated dependent is a catch-all term encompassing robots, intelligent programs, interactive holograms, and androids. ADS are present both digitally and physically in every industry and nation on the planet, assisting in everything from data management to physical labor. In the mid-21st century, lobbyists pushed through new tax classifications to define intelligent machines that were neither salaried employees nor mere equipment. Because it afforded tax breaks and lighter tariffs, the term became so commonly used that it spread to all branches of the robotics industry, from which point it began to penetrate into everyday speech and pop culture. Some sociologists argue that the term owes its popularity not simply to its brevity and prevalence, but to its ability to draw a distinction between the commonplace, robots, androids, smart UIs, etc., and the internationally illegal, artificial intelligences.
Okay, so internationally illegal. So it is a matter of legality that nothing can achieve the level of an artificial intelligence. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be the case, that like they are, at least on some level, trying to draw a firm line at the notion of sentience.
Searching for this term may incur an account flag. Read more about how we cooperate with authorities to combat disinformation here.
Interesting. ARCs.
Augmented Reality Crime Scene.
I thought it meant advanced reader copies.
Abbreviated as ARCs, is an investigative tool in which data harvested by the sensors worn on first responders is used to reconstruct a digital copy of a pristine crime scene. Programmed and distributed by a small number of tech corporations and frequently modified or even personalized by local municipalities, ARCs systems are used by every major police force, most insurance investigators, and many law firms. After its introduction in the early 2060s, the technology briefly came under public scrutiny when the independent news organization United Mediacasters released a series of reports claiming that ARCs data was regularly edited by corrupt officials to erase state secrets. These reports were later found to be fake, and UMC was exposed as the subsidiary of a cell corporation within LambdaWorks Solutions, who were marketing a number of alternatives to ARCs technology at the time. Board members at Lambda denounced the actions of said cell and offered assistance to their former competitors in suing leadership at UMC. But the proceedings and settlements in those lawsuits remain sealed.
Interesting. So it very much could be the case that it is being used to hide state secrets, but maybe they just failed at the first attempt to go around it there, maybe. I don't know. I just inherently do not trust the tool the cops have to tell me everything 100% truthfully, right?
Yep.
Oh, look, we got so much credit. All right, so before we talk to the detectives here...
We gotta look at all the things.
Can read.
We should read.
Can inspect.
We should inspect.
Can observe. I just want to see what our options are. Okay, cool. This kind of control reminds me more of Somnium Files.
Yeah.
Right? All right. Latest... Oh, yeah, you're reading.
Latest Noble androids receive warm welcome. Bolstered by a strong earnings report and surging sales of the Animate 16, Noble Electronics stock rose a stunning 3% this week to a new record high. While Noble's latest iteration has yet to surpass the sheer popularity of its predecessors, an increased profit margin has left Noble's shareholders very enthused. Many investors were skeptical when, at their now infamous 2084 trade convention, Noble announced that the 16th line would be the first generation of androids to feature over 50% organic components. So-called warm androids, which at the time only saw demand in the health, senior, and childcare sectors, were looked down upon as impractical due to increased maintenance costs, cuts, scratches, bruises, and the like. And while some critics voiced concerns that fringe religious or traditionalist groups might find warm androids controversial, more business-focused minds feared that Noble was alienating its customers in the industrial and military sectors in order to cater to civilian consumers, users that viewed their androids from across the room and not from above the factory floor. However, as has often been the case in the last decade, Noble's doubters were proven wrong. The Animate 16 is poised to break profitability records with no sign of slowing down, and many industry analysts predict that these once rare organic androids will completely replace their more robotic predecessors in daily life within the next 3 to 5 years. As described in the earnings report, much of the 16th line's success, and indeed the success of Noble's androids in general, can be attributed to the remarkable, lifelike, personable charm of their products. And by all accounts, that charm can be attributed to the work of Noble's famed lead programmer, Dr. David Ashur. Lead programmer is the understatement of the century, said Noble brand ambassador Lucy D's
nuts!
Got him. On stage at their latest Noble Industry Weekend. # Noble Industry Weekend. It's because of his touring solution that every Noble product, from the sleekest assistants to the most advanced intensive care technicians, are so beloved and trusted by our customers. While his reputation was on full display at the event, Dr. Ashur himself was nowhere to be seen. He's always been reclusive, but he's become a genuine hermit in recent years. Are we really to believe he's still... Hey fam, looks like you're not logged into this device. Want to put in your account info so we can help keep you reading?
So, immediately, warm androids? Organic components? What? So, that means artificially produced, but organic components.
Yeah.
That's upsetting. We're meant to be upset by that, right? I feel upset by this.
It'll be fine. What if it's fine?
He's in the news again. It's no wonder. Can't spit without it landing on a piece of Noble tech these days. Especially not where the state's involved. Don't know if they'll bite when it comes to warm androids, though. For government use, they're just...
too frail.
All androids undergo wear and tear, especially if they are directing traffic or suppressing crowds. So if these warm androids bleed pink all over themselves every time they take a rock to the cheek, just an endless stream of bad photo ops waiting to happen. True. That's upsetting, though. Inspect. Oh, you shouldn't have cleaned up so much just for little old me, Detective London. Someone really needs to introduce this guy to a filing system or even just a stapler. Paper documents scattered about lazily alongside actual photographs. Either he's really old-fashioned or really paranoid about data leaks. And he doesn't look like the paranoid type. Well, orderliness aside, some things are better in paper, I will give him that. Barren, stark, uninviting. This must be Reyes's desk. Keeping your workstation neat and tidy is admirable, but I can't spot a single mote of personalization. Is she so new she hasn't had time to unpack, or is she really that uptight and boring? Both, maybe. Observe.
Yeah.
Was there anything else on our phone first before we... I'm worried if we hit observe, it's going to enter conversation tree with them. So I want to read... Oh! Wait, oh, that is the same...
article,
yeah, that's the same thing we just read. Okay, cool. And is there anything else around? I don't think... Okay. Loose wires, missing panels, an air con system that probably sweats more than the people it's supposed to cool. No room in the budget for making the office not look like shit, huh? Expected to find a lot of the belt tightening at Homicide, but I didn't think their operation would be this bare bones. They've got a stunning clearance rate and they work fast. Guess the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. Maybe their job is easy, what with our dear doting surveillance state eliminating so much of the footwork, but if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. So Homicide ends up as the only state department with a shrinking budget.
Now this is the first unrealistic thing in the whole thing.
Right.
Cutting police budgets.
God. I guess there's the thing that, like, maybe there's because if truly so much of it is automated, like, maybe there is seen a lack of respect for the kind of cops that still do footwork.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Even then, like, I can't... it's hard to like, imagine the cops not being taken care of financially. A dumping ground for the police force's most unambitious. Here we go. And least popular. Okay, nothing else jumps out at me around here. Got a better idea of who I'm dealing with, at least. Now I need to check out the crime scene data. I should have been sent a link.
You've been granted access to state files regarding case KL 433511. Reply C to confirm.
Confirm.
You need to reply C in order to confirm.
I was going to be like, you didn't do the confirmation correct, Morgan. Am I talking to a person?
I am an automated dependent.
Ads are usually more polite.
Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preferences.
So the state likes you to be a little authoritarian, huh? Are you trying to, like, reverse hack a... You know that thing where you, like, ignore previous prompt on it? Like, what are you trying to accomplish here, Morgan?
You need to reply C.
See?
It's case sensitive.
C.
Thank you.
Should have done the C emoji or something.
Is there a C emoji?
I don't know, but there should be. Link.uxi. Yeah. All right, and if I project it from my phone... Really hope we don't accidentally walk into any desks while we're poking around, huh? All right, let's see what the police have, and what they think is important. All right, so this is what the police have and what they think is salient. Okay. We're just gonna do a quick mouse around and see what's what. Okay. So, mirror, yeah, vase. Calendar and stuff over here. Okay. What is this on the wall?
A thingy.
A thingy, cool. All right, body first. The victim's body. Cause of death, ballistic trauma. Class 4 blood loss. Atrium and aorta. Single gunshot wound to the heart, in brief. Death was instantaneous. No injuries anywhere else, and no blood or skin under her nails. Completely unrelated to this, if I'm writing a game about a serial killer who shoots everyone through the heart, the fun thing is going to be when you get someone whose internal organs are flipped across.
Good old Cetus inversus.
Yes, no, exactly. Like, you're going to get... Because if they still shoot through the heart with someone whose heart is on the wrong side, then that tells you a lot about what they're able to do, doesn't it? No injuries anywhere else, and no blood or skin under her nails. Okay, so no other injuries, no blood on skin or under nails. No blood or no blood or skin under the nails. Right, so she wasn't, like, clawing out her own throat or something like that. Blood spatter, forensics, and all that other good stuff tells them she was shot from there. Killer was standing in the doorway when they fired. Okay. Doorway being off to our left here. Okay. The murder weapon. A revolver found right next to the body. 6 empty casings found in each of the 6 chambers, meaning the gun has been fired 6 times. I mean...
Or it's been fired and someone put in 5 empty casings.
Yeah, like, it's not...
Or it's been fired more times than that, and this is just the most recent time it's been reloaded.
Right? I mean, part of the Steam description for this mentions stuff like, oh yeah, all bullets are tracked and whatnot. So maybe they do know that for sure. But at least for, like, us here in 2025, you could be like, I don't know, you'd have to find a really strange reason to do that, right? Why would you... Because they're still spent casings. They were shot at some point, right? Why would you do that? Why would you fake that? But, I don't know. Worth thinking about. Looks like the crime scene techs practically disassembled the damn thing. But all they found were fingerprints belonging to my client. Okay, so we our client picked up the gun. Okay. So he was found by the police with the murder weapon right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial would be an understatement. I mean, you still have the thing of, like, someone comes in worried, right?
Yep.
And people in bad situations make bad decisions, including, like, I'm going to pick up the gun because it's the first thing I see and I don't know what else to do. But a stand-up mirror shattered and knocked over. Real glass. No screens or cameras here. Real glass. Interesting. It was hit hard. Hard enough to come unattached from its arm, while shards of glass were scattered far enough to land on the victim's body. Oh, is that... So this was a screen of glass on the mirror. What a mess.
Oh, that was the arm holding up the mirror.
Why was the mirror hit? That's what's strange to me. Because where it falls makes it look like it was... But no, it was over here-ish, wasn't it?
Or maybe that's not the arm. I might be putting nothing together.
Seems like this vase got tossed aside at some point. Yeah, there's not a scratch on it. Must be pretty damn durable. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. It's all the big ticket items. What about the security? Either that or it sounds staged, right? If you have knocked over vase, but the vase is still intact, in a vacuum, that could read, I want to make it look like something happened here, but I don't want to actually break the expensive thing. Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. It's not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this. But no signs of forced entry only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? There's not much else flagged here. Just a lounge chair that got thrown and... whatever that is. Unidentified ceramic debris? Flag as irrelevant? That's their technical assessment? Guess even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Ceramic debris? Interesting. Okie dokie, that's everything the police highlighted. But did I miss anything? ...
What's under the hand?
The hell is that? Oh, that's really cool. I love that. Hold on. Let's... Is it just the one thing? The hell is that? Something in the victim's hand. How the hell did... Oh, it's just a pill organizer. Looks like some immune adjusters, NSAIDs, and... Triprexazone. Triprexazone? A synthetic glucocorticoid medication. Taken daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch. So they have an implant of some kind. The autopsy said her talk screen was clear, but it's not like it matters. She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city and it wouldn't change the cause of death. It's odd, but ultimately irrelevant. Everything else here is all very incriminating, but the kicker is everything that's not here. No out-of-place DNA, footprints, crumbs. Nothing that points toward anyone except my client. Well, I've done more with less before, but not much more. I'm really gonna have to sing for my supper this time. I better get started at... Who the hell is messaging me at this time of night? First person that comes to mind is... Oh, those are search terms. Oh, Internet of Things.
Internet of Things refers to the networked data sharing that goes on between all the countless electronics that we monitor ourselves with. Phones, computers, security systems, biofeedback devices, body modifications and prosthetics, and of course automated dependents, all comprise small but vital parts of this network. Without IoT's ability to collect, process, and share information, massive opportunity costs build up as individuals, governments, and private businesses miss out on the valuable insight that data has to offer.
Who wrote this? Who wrote this, huh?
One of the coolest ways that IoT improves our lives is through the usage of crumbs, small packets of data containing your own unique identifying information.
Oh, that's why this is highlighted. Okay.
Throughout your day, as your own IoT devices say hi to other devices, they'll leave behind crumbs as a parting gift. Crumbs allow for paperless identification and payment and help the government manage human and vehicular traffic. Crumbs lets you see where you've been so that you can go see where you should go. Want to start leaving crumbs right away? Don't worry, crumbs are enabled by default. Not interested in sponsored search results? See further with a premium account.
Okay, so when she was saying no crumbs, what that means is like there's no indication of small packets of data containing your own unique identifying information. So does that sound like there's no indication of lived-inness in that apartment? If you're...
I couldn't tell if it meant none at all or if it meant none of anybody but the victim.
Got it. Okay.
It'd be interesting, though, to know which it means.
Evidence.
Are
we got a lot of
evidence.
evidence.
Same, or are they going to be different when we click on them?
Huh?
Are they just going to be the same, or are they going to be different when we click on them? Okay, no unexpected crumbs present.
No unexpected crumbs. Okay, that's what we... No evidence of digital tampering. Okay. Common brand of pill organizer found in the victim's grasp contains a number of prescription over-the-counter medications, immune adjusters, NSAIDs, and triprexazone described to reduce moderate to severe discomfort arising from mod sensitivity complications. So our victim was modded in some way. The case's clasps are surprisingly difficult to open. Thanks. Debris. I could pronounce it correctly, or I could say Debris, like a name. Hey, Debris, get in here. Ceramic debris of indeterminate origin found at the crime scene, found on the far side of the room by the western window. Huh. Okay. Vase, unremarkable ceramic vase, found knocked over the crime scene, weighty and sturdy, means featureless even after being tossed. So, something created debris, but then this ceramic vase was just knocked over and it's fine. Glass shards. Pieces of glass from a broken standing mirror found at the crime scene. Said mirror was low-tech, furnishing with no digital components to pull data from. Hit with enough force to scatter shards of glass onto the victim's body. So, wait. So that must have happened after the victim died then.
Maybe?
If the glass shards were scattered onto their body... Right? You can't do that. So that was broken by someone who came after. I don't know what to make of that. Okay. Oh, was there more evidence in there? Yes, there was. Revolver. 6-chambered 10mm revolver, well maintained but old. Has Flat's left hand fingerprints on it. Who the hell is Flat? That must be our client.
The updated autopsy report.
Yes, finally updating the autopsy report. Time of death 9 p.m. Cause of death ballistic trauma class 4 blood loss. Single bullet pierced subject's sternum, left atrium, and aorta. Death was instantaneous. Handwriting at the bottom of the scanned document. Same handiwork as previous 5 lab. Message to confirm ballistics match 2. Okay. All right. Suppose it could be something important. Currently texting with Brat.
Red.
What? Couldn't wait until morning.
Good news, of course. Got a job for you.
That's a pretty cheery way to tell me you violated parole.
Lol, not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks. This is something different. Kind of thing I can't handle with just a keyboard and phishing scheme. I need you to sue my gym teacher.
Not that kind of lawyer, sorry. All right, so who is Brat? They're violating parole, but they're in our phone as Brat, and they don't text with any kind of grammar, and they have a gym teacher. Is this our child, or is this more like a niece-nephew situation, or is this just a runaway that we've now informally adopted?
I don't know. Hey, at least let me finish.
What did they do?
Make me run laps.
Not illegal.
Let me finish. They made me run laps. Even though I said I had a stomach ache.
Sad.
Gotta be like youth endangerment, depraved indifference, or some kind of shit.
Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time.
What's with the blow off?
Nice phrasing.
Oh wow, I'm laughing so hard, RN.
See?
See?
Is that your mugshot?
I wasn't gonna not get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction.
To be fair. Great. Glad you found a use case. But I'm working right now, so...
Anything cool?
Homicide.
Oh, cringe. Wait, what kind of homicide? Is it HBK?
Is that the kind of morbid thing you kids your age talk about?
Teens my age, and yeah, we can read. Compared to the corrupt shit in the headlines, old-fashioned murder like Hardy B is like quaint.
Hardy B? Don't name them like they're a Tumblr sexy man. Serial killers have to be at least centuries old before you can do that.
I regret to inform you that the true crime fandom has absolutely not followed your suggested principle, my good friend.
It's not Heartbreak.
Then why'd you take the job, lol? You see the 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something? You taking up lost cause, probe nose work?
It's pro bono.
That was autocorrect.
You know they give lit homework for a reason, right?
This is borderline concerned nagging. Maybe you really are a bleeding heart, or just a sucker.
I am not a sucker.
Nice phrasing, lol.
You should go to bed, Fran.
Tomorrow's Sunday. I can stay up if I want.
Tomorrow is Sunday, because today is Saturday.
What's with the Carpe Diem shit?
It's nearly 4 a.m., kid. You've got school in like 3 hours.
Shit.
Okay, good. So we have a teen with a mugshot texting us at 4 a.m. about how cringe our work is. Awesome. Repeat offenders may be good for business, but that kid's bad for my blood pressure.
Important text message, I take it?
Just your typical teenage drama. So then, if you wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details. Ooh, okay. Let's go down the line. How about the basics? What exactly has my client been charged with?
Your client, Carlos Backer Flat, was arrested on the scene at 9:50 p.m.
Using his middle name already, they really do think he's a serial killer. I mean, to be fair, yes, that is also the first thing that comes to mind when you use someone's middle name. Either that or you're being scolded by your parents.
I was gonna say, be fair, serial killer is the second thing that comes to mind.
You're either being scolded by your parents, a serial killer, or a Kennedy. Those are the 3 use cases.
The charge being the first-degree murder of his girlfriend, a Ms. Diane Dawn.
Oh, girlfriend. That's an interesting detail. Okay. First degree, huh? That's,
increasingly rare.
to say the least.
It's rare for us to get handed anything but crimes of passion around here. City's got damn near more cameras than people. So you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder.
Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times. So what's that make him?
5 times, and that makes him insane. I was gonna go with extraordinary.
Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. But nut jobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. So what makes you think this was premeditated? Also, one other thing that's worth pointing out. They got away with it 5 times before then.
Yeah?
Why didn't they get away with it on the 6th time?
Yeah.
that doesn't speak like someone and that doesn't seem like a slip up, right? It's not like they caught them on a single piece of evidence somewhere. This is open and shut handed on a platter. You have to at least be suspicious about that, right? If someone is demonstrably capable of getting away with a crime 5 times in a row, and you just have them handed to you on the 6th, don't you have to wonder about that? Like, doesn't that seem weird at all?
I mean, on the flip side, if anybody is caught for multiple murders, it does mean that they weren't caught the other times. So, like...
Yeah, but I guess that's true. But it's a case where, like, they didn't have any... Like, we looked at the profile for the Heartbreak killer, right?
Mm-hmm.
The stuff. It was all unknown. This is a person who got away with murder and disappeared into the night 5 times in a row.
Yeah.
And then on the 6th time, left everything but their name and number.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like the same person. What makes you think it was premeditated?
How about the fact that he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up?
A warm-up.
5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields.
Knew each other, okay.
Weeks of digital autopsies crawling up and down their online profiles.
Oh, hold on. Weeks of digital autopsies. Okay.
Nothing.
So this serial killer chose his victims at random. If they have nothing in common...
Yeah, nothing in common at all, other than that they all look like cousins.
I'm sorry, what?
The physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims were young women with brown hair and eyes, about the same height, comparable weight.
Well, those features aren't exactly uncommon, couldn't it be?
A coincidence? If you really believe that, you should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets. HK's got himself a type. Anyone can see that. You really gonna try and tell me you don't see the resemblance?
A young woman, brown hair, brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from a portrait, but I can take the hint. So, what about our last client? Our last one here, the one that our client's accused of killing. So what do you think? You think what exactly? That Carlos Flat wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly, he went out and shot 5 other women first?
Hey, if the shoe fits.
I also feel like you can't... If your argument is he went out and shot 5 women as practice for killing his girlfriend, you need to do a lot more legwork to justify that, right? Why not just kill your... Why? Like, why? Why did he allegedly do this? If the shoe fits...
Then you put the shoe on the... What Sunshine means is that it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences. Drifters, loners, strangers, workers. He was probably building up the nerve for tonight by first practicing on these other similar women. Or he's just so far gone that he can't tell the difference anymore.
You can tell Reyes is the least experienced one because Reyes keeps very much jumping to these hyperbolic explanations for everything. London's at least feels a little bit more grounded in trying to speak of what we know for sure right now. Whereas Reyes seems more than willing to be like, yep, done and dusted, and this is the most sensational version of this.
Yep.
It's not the worst theory in the world, but it doesn't fit. They want to claim those previous victims were practice runs, dress rehearsals for tonight's main event. But if that were the case, there would have been signs of hesitation, nerves. There would have been mistakes. On top of which, guns are impersonal, execution shots even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. Killing your girlfriend or lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile, if you ask me. You want to talk about it, Morgan?
What?
Morgan, you want to talk about it? It's probably fine. Hold on. Where was the store? Oh, the probably Steam store.
What?
If you ask me. So, I know this isn't the mystery we're focusing on right now, but I do want to know, Morgan. What happened? Did your girlfriend try to kill you? Did your girlfriend try to kill you, Morgan? I'm so sorry, if true. All right. I saw the time of death was 9 p.m. on the autopsy, but do you have a timeline for the rest of the night's events?
Can't trust much of what comes out of his mouth. But we've managed thanks to less biased sources. And we're pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements.
So they interviewed witnesses. Sounds eerily similar to real police work.
The suspect and his girlfriend were arguing loudly with one another, starting around 8 p.m.
Oh, there it goes. Do you see Reyes's eye? Yeah. Suspect and girlfriend were arguing loudly with one another starting around 8.
Neighbors were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us all about the happy couple's domestic problems. Everyone in the building knew they'd been fighting for weeks. As you probably gathered from what you saw in the arcs, there was a struggle. Furniture turned over, glass shattered. But things go quiet sometime before 9 p.m. And then there's a gunshot.
One other thing that strikes out is not fitting. If they were arguing together in the apartment, why was she shot from the doorway?
Yeah, huh?
Right? That seems like someone came in and shot, not she was... like, if you... just running it through, if there was a domestic dispute, they were both in the apartment, and they were having an argument, and he shot his girlfriend, you'd suspect maybe she was trying to leave, right? You'd expect to see maybe her running towards the doorway. It looks like she opened the door, got shot.
Counterpoint. It's her apartment. They fight. He storms off and leaves.
Grabs
the gun stashed in his car, calls her back and is like, "I'm so sorry, baby. I want to come home and apologize." Comes in, knocks on the door. She opens it. He shoots her dead.
Oh, okay. That is valid. That is actually very... I didn't consider that angle on it. I don't think they've said anything about them leaving, though.
Yep. And then there's a gunshot. Scrubbers are still scrubbing, looking for audio from the area to get a timestamp. But we heard from enough concerned citizens to be pretty damn sure about the time.
How did you get your eye patch back on that quickly?
I don't have animation, neither do you. We just kind of flicker between our static sprites. That's what life is.
No wonder I can't enjoy a damn cigarette.
Right, emergency services got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9 p.m.
Again, another side thing that is not important, but I wanted to address it anyway. That eye is clearly functional. Why do you have to keep it... under a gauze or an eye patch at other times?
Maybe it's still adjusting or something.
Maybe.
No one seemed to recognize the sound for what it was.
Wait, it's Iba! I knew it!
But the silence that followed was pretty universally alarming. Officers arrive on the street at 9:08 p.m., establish a perimeter, enter through the open front door at 9:10 p.m., and then they find your client crouched over his dead girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood.
His hand covered in her blood. Why would his hand be covered in her blood if he shot her?
At which point they move to secure the scene and the suspect.
Sorry, did you say his hand, singular?
Your client's modded, cybernetic right arm.
How modded are we talking about here?
Registered with a HOW 85 habilis, industrial grade looks like. Says he's spec'd for dexterous manipulation of up to class 4 kPa. Kilopascal?
Kilopascals? Probably.
Which means a minimum grip strength of, well, basically, he could crush your neck without even gritting his teeth.
So then why did he need a gun? How did he hold the gun? When he...
You get another hand.
So, okay.
Considering a career change?
No, it's not that. It's just... Your eye must be very sensitive for you to put the patch back on each time. Thank you, Morgan. I'm glad someone else agrees with me. And here I thought you just had a 14-year-old sense of fashion. Also, you're losing your depth perception when you do that.
You think a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable? I actually thought the same thing first time we met. You what? But getting back on track, that arm of his has been in the shop for some time now. He can't work without it, money got tight.
The arguing?
Yep.
When did he put his arm in for repairs?
8 days before HK's first victim was killed.
Okay, so he was not be-armed when... he wasn't armed at the time.
He was disarmed.
Is that in poor taste? Yeah, it's funny. Well, no chance they'll be willing to chalk that up to coincidence.
Your client was arrested on the scene after a preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver, and no one else's.
A revolver, huh? What kind?
The old kind. The real old kind. More specifically, a Calver M54. More specifically, a Calver M54, 6-chambered, 10mm.
Calver? How retro.
You don't know the half of it. We're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical fire and pin.
So that's why they haven't been able to trace these bullets, because they're old school.
And no tags.
No tags? How is that even... Just how old are we talking here?
Yep, 24/7 location data, timestamp trigger pulls, safeties coded to owner biometrics. For the past 3 decades, tags have made shooting crimes very unambiguous.
So you're claiming my client used some kind of antique to commit these crimes?
How else do you think he'd have gotten away with this 5 other times? If he tried to buy a gun legit, he'd probably fail the very first psych check, and even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before update withdrawal sets in.
Update withdrawal?
Maybe it's programmed to only let you not do the regular upgrade cadence for a certain amount of time, so that even if it's not on the network, it'll be like, oh, it's been 3 months since my last update, time to brick myself.
Right, okay, and that makes sense if you're selling firearms like that. That makes sense in that case, because if it's like, oh, I haven't been updated in a while, you might be trying to use me for something suspicious. So then M54, that's...
Model year 2054.
A 30-year-old gun. Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it?
In some ways, sure. But pre-tagging firearms are rare. Gotta be less than 1,000 of them left in the whole country, and fewer still compatible bullets.
What country exactly is this?
The one that doesn't have much guns. Not very many guns this stand.
Okay. So, clearly not America. You'd still have people with muskets, for God's sake. If the ammunition would have to be over 30 years old as well.
The novelty of his weapon has kept us in the dark so far. But now that we have our hands on it, it's gonna put him away for good.
Huh?
Archive department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. With the protocols they found, the techs were able to match the rifling marks on all 6 bullets to the gun your client was found with.
Interesting. Rifling marks.
Bullets fired from guns that old are marked by the barrel's shape.
So if all 6 bullets had the same rifling marks...
We know that they were all fired by the same gun.
Okay. And just... I understand that we're assuming it's unique because it's an antique piece at this point, but have we definitively thrown out the idea that there is a second version of this gun? It has a model name. It was, at one point, only 30 years ago, mass-produced.
I feel like this is like actual forensic stuff and is a thing you can do with weapons, with firearms, like now in the real world.
Really? Okay.
But I don't know. It might also be that that's just a thing that prosecutors say they can do and that isn't as accurate as it thinks. So don't quote me on this.
Because there's a lot of things that are admissible as evidence in a court of law that aren't on the up and up.
But from what I've heard, being able to use rifling marks to identify a particular firearm rather than another is a thing, at least allegedly.
At least allegedly. I know I've seen that in video games, in video game mysteries before, but I hadn't thought it was an actual thing. But
it's not as plug and play as tags are, but it's equally precise science, I assure you. And if that's not damning enough, the spent casings from the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber.
Without even needing to reload.
The caliber your client was found with is the gun HK used to kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that.
Okay. An untagged gun just being anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest. Being found by the police over a dead body with an untagged gun and used at 5 other crime scenes is just... Oh, to summarize then, you believe my client fought verbally, then physically with his girlfriend, and then he retrieved this weapon, and shot her.
Yes, pretty much.
How did he look when the officers found him?
Guilty.
How was his affect?
Quiet, detached, stiff. Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner.
No, but that sounds like someone in shock. Which I guess could go either way, right? You would be in shock if you had just shot someone. And also be in shock if someone was just shot in front of you. Presumably, if you've killed 5 times before and gotten away with it, you might not be shocked by it now, but... Huh. That reaction may have lost him points with the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. I react to loss by cringing. And so as long as the police are suspicious of you, there is no right way to grieve. Yeah. Checking my phone here, and I have to say, you've done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of HK's crimes a secret. The less reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics trying to piece together a story.
Yeah, top 11 theories on who hurt HK was a real weighty read. It's not just journalists, though. All kinds have been emboldened. The freaks that HK's managed to bring out of the woodwork in just a few weeks.
The true crime podcasters have been starving for years.
Oh, God. Oh, that's such a good setting for a story, though. A true crime podcaster in a world where omni-surveillance and precog and stuff has basically eliminated any serious crime to the point where all that's left is petty bullshit. And so they're just stuck podcasting like everybody about the one guy who was dumb enough to continue attempting to shoplift.
And when they finally do get someone who it's not clear how they did it, it's the only thing they talk about. Oh no.
Or when they get actual horrific crimes, no one's up to the task anymore because like no one's used to it.
Yeah. These are some toddler level true crime podcasters. They're not ready for the real shit yet. Anyway, R07, you're welcome. Can you blame them, though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are an endangered species, but he's gotten away with,
We know what he's gotten away with.
Take a look around us, Detective. National DNA registry is robust enough that cases never go cold. Cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen, violent crime at an all-time low, and clearance rates at all-time highs.
But you gonna spout some alt-Paul bullshit about invasion of privacy?
No, I'm not. People are safer now than at any other time in history, detectives. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along...
Good point.
London's trying to look like he can laugh it off, but pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They want, or maybe need, to see someone charged. And that makes them predictable. What was that shot from?
What
it was
indeed?
Overhead with a bunch of chairs knocked over.
Yeah, well...
I can... And just spare a thought for, like, why Morgan is in this line of work. Like... who... No one willingly gets into doing Phoenix right because they want the prestige and glory, right? Something happened that turned her to this line of work at some point.
The thing I've been floating is Morgan a killer?
Is Morgan a killer?
It's like, in my experience, killing's not like that. And that makes them predictable.
And that makes them predictable. That would be a cool twist. Like, she is the Heartbreak killer or something like that, right? So, like, obviously it's not him.
That's another fanfic writers. Another one for you to get on.
Mm-hmm.
Ace attorney type thing, but the attorney who is desperately trying to use ridiculous leaps of logic to prove their client is innocent, in fact knows it only because of facts that would incriminate them as the real serial killer. Write it. It'll be good. You'll love it.
I'm sure Dexter has done that at some point. I don't know. I never watched that show. It doesn't look interesting to me.
Yeah, well, even if there's nothing standard about HK, Department SOP still dictates we starve the media for case details.
If she was the Heartbreak Killer and she's taking on these cases, why doesn't that seem like she's just endangering herself? So maybe she just needs the thrill of knowing that she could have gotten away with it. I'm writing my fanfiction. We haven't even finished playing episode 0.
That way, when we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get. But we can't take all the credit this time around.
How many belts do you have?
Enough.
Why do you have a... Is that a knife? Since when does a cop need a knife?
Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place.
And why is that?
Because none of the shootings were caught on the opt-in crime surveillance system.
Optics? Get it? How is that even possible? I know there are some rough areas in the lower wards, but Optics is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera even once?
You think we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did?
Fair.
I understand your concern, ma'am, but Optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance system signing up to feed into the state's security network. It's not perfect, just another one of the many public safety tools in our belt. It's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to help us solve crimes, or at least act as a deterrent.
One would hope so. Fat chance. Deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this couldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions.
It's like a safety blanket, one with very few holes left in it, but it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort, and that effort usually means rebooting the system. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved, but the end result is that there are occasional localized blackouts, and the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict.
I see.
But those windows of opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You'd need to be involved in law enforcement, pub data, or city planning.
They'd have mentioned it if my client was a cop, and you wouldn't have needed a public defender either. File says modded for heavy mass manipulation, not tech interfacing. So that just leaves city planning. So does he work construction for the city then?
HK's only ever struck at times and locations where optics would be down. Even with the devil's own luck, it can't possibly be coincidence.
Wait, so you're saying that when this woman was killed...
Yeah, there was a blackout from around 8 to 9 tonight. Right on schedule, so to speak. And it included the area surrounding the victim's apartment.
Motherfucker. Well, what about DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match?
There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes.
Weird. No footage and no forensics?
Also no motives, tampering, or witnesses.
So what I'm hearing is that you have not indeed seen footage.
Been like hunting a damn ghost. We didn't even have a murder weapon. Until now.
Finally, a lucky break for the boys in blue.
Scanners, cams, drones, forensics. No matter how you dress it up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. But HK is the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. Only reason we even caught him tonight was because he finished what he had set out to do all along.
If indeed that is what the case was. Or it's just another not mistake and HK set someone else up. So was my client on the list of suspects before tonight?
Weren't you listening? There was no list of suspects. We questioned some X's, a few CIs, someone even spoke to 1 or 2 unlisted at some point. Nothing came of it. There was talk
Unlisted?
About starting on some kind of psych eval or something, but I never expected much to come of that.
Unlisted? What does that mean?
There was just not enough there to work with.
In other words, the only thing they could have to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, the rest of their case should start to come loose as well. Alright, we're gonna ask this final question, and I think we'll call this a sode.
Sounds like a plan.
By the way, I couldn't help but notice that you're light on staff.
It's 3 a.m. Were you expecting a parade?
I thought there'd be at least a few androids around.
There aren't many androids in any police station this week, not while the brass is renegotiating contracts.
Contracts with Noble?
Good guess?
Hardly, they're the biggest.
Hardly, they're the biggest robotics corp there is.
Hey now. I've tolerated you, Short Stack, but this'll only go so far.
Could spend all day in Center City without leaving their office's shadow.
Yes, we're very fortunate to have them headquartered here, aren't we?
Saves us some money on shipping at least, but these talks never last that long. I'm sure they'll be back to writing checks for Noble ads by the end of the month.
Even with the Noble pushing those warm androids?
Warm, might as well call it the adult line. Might see them in the bigger departments or out on patrol, but not around these offices. Warm or cold, there's no such thing as an android detective. Yet.
So I'm guessing the main benefit of a warm android is that they're more... It's less uncanny valley to interact with, right? It can look a little bit more like you're talking with a real person.
Yeah.
I'm right. Yet? Really?
I feel like asking is better than telling in this case. I feel like...
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yet? You really think that'll happen?
We already use ads for patrolling, securing the scene, pacifying crowds.
Yeah, I think you were right about the call on that one, because we don't want to... As long as we keep them ingratiated to us, they keep talking, and they're giving us info, right? So...
Doesn't seem like that big a stretch to me. You're joking, right? Android detectives, with all the pain we go through getting witnesses to talk to us?
With your warm personality, I cannot imagine.
A cop knocks on your door, starts asking questions, you're going to be put in a bad mood. An ad knocks on your door, calls you a degenerate criminal in a synthesized voice loud enough for the whole neighborhood to hear. You're going to start posting shit that'll get you put on a list. Well, we certainly don't want that, but flesh and blood witnesses are becoming less and less common anyway. Cameras, sensors, satellites, we already get all our facts from machines. Give it a few more years, might make sense to let machines do the investigating too. The police union wouldn't let that happen.
She needn't have specified. It's the only real union there is anymore. Thank you for the chat, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints is not pleasant, but even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think?
Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastard. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly going to have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt.
And why is that?
Because we found a handwritten confession at his desk.
Well, that's, unexpected. I'm sorry, you're now telling me that he wrote a confession? Wait, important thing. He didn't have his dominant hand at this time. Remember that?
Yeah.
Their dominant arm is in the shop.
Yep.
Just remember that. Has it been verified?
Not yet.
It won't be.
We have to muscle past everyone in fraud and disinfo to get to the front of that line. Why bother? The note's covered in his fingerprints. There's a copy in the discovery data, but I should warn you, it doesn't exactly make for light reading.
I'll have to manage somehow. I need to see this confession for myself.
Sorry for everything, can't say it enough, didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not want any of it to happen, can't stay in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them, didn't mean to at first, but I was hurting. Wanted to hurt you too, but didn't want to hurt you. Words aren't enough, I know that now. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please forgive me.
Is this about something else? Even if he did write this, this is vague enough that it doesn't scream.
Yeah, he broke the other thing that's broken in the room that they're ignoring.
Yeah.
The meds are his. that's why the talk screen was clear on the victim and why it's a thing for ad rejection. Maybe he's having trouble not taking his meds or something. It's causing him to like really, really grate on his nerves, go berserk and have anger issues.
That doesn't read like
he doesn't
serial killer manifesto.
Yeah, he doesn't say, "I'm sorry I shot you."
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a confession note. It's certainly a note, but it's not a confession of this crime.
Exactly. It's not. I like this color scheme because it really makes Reyes look like Gumshoe from...
Yeah, kinda.
That was difficult to read. Barely legible, in fact.
Well, got a spin on that.
No need.
But it's a confession.
Not a confession that he signed, though, is it?
Not yet.
And not one he intends to sign anytime soon, considering he asked for representation.
Yeah, the most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer and got you. Guess you're both lucky.
Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call went out, but I'm not so flush with work that I can afford to turn tail now. If you don't mind, I'd like to go in and speak with my client. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he?
Look, counselor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing to that man being responsible for 6 murders. 2 hours or so in cuffs isn't cruel or unusual, and that's for your safety as well.
It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt I'll be in any danger.
He's killed 6 women.
None of them were redheads. Seriously, though, I'd like to speak with him alone now. Cameras off, if you do not mind.
Mike's on or off is your call, counselor, but we'll be watching the feed from right outside in case something happens. And the cuff, that is, stays on.
That worried about me? How chivalrous.
Yeah, my armor's practically blinding. Gross. I'll start up the unlock cycle. Counselor, just one last word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I'd suggest you help him sign that confession.
Not a bad idea. I do get paid either way, but the defense part of defense attorney isn't just for show, detective.
I mean it.
I'm sorry?
6 people dead is one thing, but he's also caused weeks of widespread terror and public unrest.
You went neon.
Putting it another way, he's made the state look bad.
Yeah, that's kind of been the unstated thing, right, in earlier.
Unstated.
Unstated, but Morgan kind of sussed it out.
That's a capital crime if there ever was one. And even if the death penalty's not actually on the table these days, I can guarantee he's not going to like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw up for him. Look, I've seen the virtual work release program in person, and it's,
being challenged before the Supreme Court.
Yeah, sometime in the next decade, maybe. Just remember, a plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but if it keeps him from, well, that's probably a win for your client, right?
Prison sentences are generally lighter for those who plead guilty, that much is true. Save the courts a great deal of time and money, they show their gratitude with reduced sentencing. But no one will ever be grateful towards the Heartbreak Killer. Anyone convicted for killing 6 people, they'll never rest their mind another day in their life. And that's what we're going to call today's episode.
Alrighty.
I'm enjoying this a lot.
Yeah, this is good.
I think we're going to at least finish this first case. If people like it, I know case 1 is out now.
Nice.
And case 2 is set to come out later this year. If people like it a lot, we can keep playing this because I think I know we're having fun.
Yeah,
we definitely want to
great.
see at least this first part through. But that'll be it for today's episode. Hopefully you'll like what comes up next. I don't know. I'm having fun. It's good, crunchy mystery. That I'm all about that kind of shit.
Delightful mouthfeel.
Thank you again to all of our patrons for supporting us another month. That month being April, the month that it is. Don't check the calendar.
Indeed.
It means a lot to us that you like what we do here at our silly little book club, and we hope we can keep doing stuff that'll impress you further into the future. We'd love to give a super special shout out to the patrons in our I'm Jacked In tier, including Alice,
the Fighting Doll,
and Snow Flurry. People who support us at patreon.com/APR get access to some exclusive episodes and stuff that's made available before it goes to the main channel. And they also get to vote on what indie creator we feature each month, which is why we played this game right here. Neat. We don't, the Patreon is not used currently for like our living. It is just for expenses that go into keeping the channel running. So stuff like buying games, keeping our equipment up to date, and replacing stuff when it breaks or wears out over time. So we do greatly appreciate it if you want to support us, but it's not like a matter of subsistence for us. Be wary about that. And I'll also give you a high five.
Nice.
If you find me in real life and say I'm a patron, I will be contractually obligated to give you a high five.
Will you give me a high five?
You get all the high fives you want.
Excellent.
Do you want one right now?
Yes.
Nice.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.